it's day 19. I can't wait for tomorrow. I don't know why. I've got it in my head like that day 20 is like this hump where you don't feel like a beginner anymore. Things start being a bit easier. So it's day 20 tomorrow. Like the days are whizzing past really, and the last couple of days, oh my gosh, just felt so much lighter, so much brighter, so more creative. I've started writing again. I've started doing my little random gifts through the post, the surprises. I love doing that, you know, where you just choose someone randomly. It can even be someone that you've never ever met, as long as you can get their address, and you make something, send it to them that you know they'll like. Just makes you feel so good. It does. I mean, you're doing it for the other person, don't get me wrong, but it makes you feel really happy because you know that they're gonna like go to the post and expect, you know, crap and bills and stuff, and then find something little that is fun. My ear is still blocked. This has stressed me out. My ear's been blocked for months. I was hoping the last feast would sort it out, but it hasn't. So I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet and go to the flipping doctors. I don't really want to. The boys have got dentists today, so I'm getting ready to go for that. And there's also some sort of play date that we've never been on before that we've been invited to, so hopefully we're going to make it to that. But other than that, hey, please don't touch my aloe vera. Look, you've got to love my plant. Love the plant. Love the plant. Yes, and that one. He keeps pulling my plants out of the pots, and it makes me so sad because they're my babies. Look at this cool one. I've got loads of different ones. It's my new hobby. Is succulents. I love them. Oh, look, we just... Literally, as I'm talking about it, Indy, you can't do that. They'll die. Oh, poor plant. Poor plant. Say sorry to the plant. No. Say sorry. Sorry. Good boy. Another thing to tidy up. Hey, well. What else was I going to tell you about? I don't know. I do know. So, yesterday, I think I kind of made a bad choice. It kind of was a smoothie. I keep telling myself it wasn't, but it was a smoothie. With the soya milk and the other stuff. I mean, it tasted delicious. Don't get me wrong, it was gorgeous. And to be honest, I didn't actually feel any adverse effects from it. I'm still... Okay, hold on. TMI warning here, please. Stop now if you want to view me in a lovely way, but if you don't care about viewing me in a lovely way, then listen on. You ready? So I'm like pooing out clear mucus. I think it's the celery juice because this didn't happen on the last feast. So I think it's the celery juice, but it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't feel bad, and my poops are still the same. But there's actually like proper, what the heck is that about? And I've had the same today, so that hasn't affected me in that way. I've not been more hungry, so I'm not beating myself up about it. But I think if we go again, I'll probably just take in my own juice and say, I did explain to him, and I'll just say to him, you know, can I just drink this in here? Because, you know, you guys in America especially... Well, all over the world, you're so lucky. When I see that you can just go out and actually buy a juice, like a freshly pressed juice from a you know, a restaurant or whatever, I'm gonna take him down because he's pulling out the big one. Ugh. I'm just like so jealous because there is literally nowhere, anywhere that you go in the, well, not in the UK, probably London you'd be fine, but anywhere around here. If they say fresh juice or they say fresh smoothie, you're looking at, they have a carton, it's happened twice, a carton of apple juice. that is the cheap, and I know that I can go out and buy that carton of apple juice from a shop for about 50p, because it's the cheapest, nastiest, yellowest stuff ever, and it's from concentrate, it's pasteurised, it's crap, it's just sugar basically. They have that and then they mix it with frozen fruit. They'll have a packet of frozen fruit and they'll mix it together. And that's basically everywhere in my area that you can get if you're out. And I spoke, there's a vegan cafe just opened up in Felixstowe, and I actually spoke to the lady and I was like, would you consider actually buying a machine, because, you know, there's nowhere that does this. And she was like, oh, maybe in the summer. So who knows, maybe that will help. I have got a top on, let me just pull that up. Yeah, let's hope so, because there's literally nowhere I can go. And it's really annoying because they charge like £3.50 for a smoothie that I know I can buy for less than, like, if I added the ingredients together, I know that I could make that for like 20p. And I know it's not good for me because of that apple juice, I know is just gross. And frozen fruit. You know, and they're charging £3.50 for it. And all I want is just a place to open up that just has a flipping, you know, even if it had a high-speed juicing machine in it. I mean, they cost 40 quid. It's not like a big investment for people to make, is it? And you know, Matt's like, oh, we could open up our own. You know what? Because Matt is a fantastic cook. I take the mick out of him all the time, but he's a fantastic cook. He definitely would never go vegan. But he cooks. I'm not vegan, by the way. I'm mostly vegetarian, I'd say. He cooks me fantastic veggie meals, like all the time. And hey, darling. Like amazing. Which brings me on to the next thing. So I've been having like a crisis of not confidence, conscience, because I was a veggie for 20 years, but could never give up cheese or anything. I'd thought about becoming vegan, but I just couldn't imagine my life without cheese, because I'm like a cheese fan. So I've done the next best thing, which, in my opinion, which is that I try and buy, well, I only buy like organic. I try and always get everything from the UK, because I know that the welfare is better sometimes. And I try and go for the the smallest dairy farms I can find. If I can get raw, then I'll get raw. I've just found raw butter and cheese, and I know the farm that it comes from, where she lets the calves stay with the mums, and they're not artificially inseminated. So that's like the next best thing for me. My kids and my husband eat meat, so I try and you know, get the most ethical produced meat that I can afford. And that I can find, and like I say, the smaller the farm, the better, right? But the more I do, like the last feast and now this one, I've decided, well, that I'm not going to eat meat anymore for definite, and that I'm really unhappy with the whole dairy industry. Like, I mean, the lady that I know on that little farm, I can get where she's coming from, and, you know, I'm pleased to support her. She really loves her animals. But it's like, I just don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I've got a lot of thinking to do, because I love cheese. I do very much so love cheese. But I love animals more. And, you know, it's always been a big deal to me, and I've always wanted to have, you know, the highest welfare for animals possible, but the whole thing is just like a minefield. It's just difficult, because it's like you start looking into that, and then you start looking into, because I'm like, I love bees, right? I've got this thing for bees, and and I love honey. And I know the way that honey is produced. On a mass scale, it's not good. So I always go local for my honey. Like I literally, they're around the corner. I know them. I can see their hives, you know. And so I looked into cashew milk. Was it cashew or almond? No, I think it was almond. And the amount of bees that get killed, and the amount of pesticides they use, and it's like everything. It's really, really difficult to be as ethical as you want to be when it comes to eating. But I do believe that each of us holds a massive power in our choices, and I'm hoping that as I go through these 100 days that I'm going to be able to really, really zone in and listen to my conscience. And this is the thing, is that as you eat better and you take the junk food out of your diet, it's like you can hear what your body's saying, and it's not just your body's emotions that it tries to stuff down with food. It's also like your conscience, and it's, you know, the things that you really care about that you kind of forget about when you're just eating sludge, basically. Thanks for that term. That was Bobby, Raw Food City. Sludge. You've got years of sludge to get rid of. And it's sludge in your brain as well. And so it's like, finally, I'm listening to my body, and I'm also listening to my conscience, and I'm going to figure out what that means for me. And, you know, it's different for everybody. But you've got to decide which ethics are more important to you, and how you feel you can make a difference. And that's me done. Say bye-bye.
No.
Say bye-bye.
No.
I've got to go have a juice. I've not even had a juice this morning.
No.
Turn it off for me then. Press that red button. Bye. What have you got?
Love it.
You love it.
Love it.
What is it?
Juice.
Juice. And you love it. Have you nicked it? Is this supposed to be Mummy's lunch?
No.
No. Is it Mummy's lunch?
Yes.
You have a bit then.
What? No.
That's sweet potato, ginger, orange, and apple.
Love it. Let's
Put the lid on then.